Hi YouTube, welcome back to Chinese TCG Store. Today we have a market watch, including some subscriber picks. But before we dig into that, first I wanted to go ahead and shout out my structure deck giveaway contest that I'm going to be doing. If you haven't seen that video yet, it is my previous video. I will leave a link to the video in the description. But all the details you'll need to know to win the structure deck will be there. So with that aside, let's go ahead and get into the market watch for today. First, we have Madolche, which is something that Team Sakurai also wanted to go over, so I agreed to covering it today. If you're not familiar with this deck, it's been out for quite a while, and it's kind of like a fan favorite deck, if you will. I'm sure Team Sakurai also could probably speak a lot more to this deck than I can, because he, I think, has played it for quite a bit. But just being around the market, I've seen some crazy price spikes in this deck from time to time. And even with the collector market down, we're still seeing cards be pretty expensive. Now for this deck, I don't think that it's the best deck right now to play personally, but I think it's one of the better decks to keep in your collection for long-term value. The first card I'm going to go over is Madolche Salon, because this is one of the most recent prints that we've got for this deck. It is currently a solo print and has not received a reprint yet, which is surprising because this was a ultra rare in Eternity Code, so I'm surprised they didn't reprint this. But currently it is going for $19, going up to $22. And it looks like we won't get a reprint for this card for quite a while. My guess is they'll probably reprint it in maximum gold this year, if I had to guess when it could get a reprint. But who knows, really? I mean, there's no way to tell on those kind of things. I don't think that it's worth picking up at the current price point, because, you know, if you do get a reprint, this price will tank to probably $6 or below. Just depending on how hard the reprint is to get. Next, I want to cover the Ultimate Rare Madolche Queen Tiramisu. This was a card that for first edition, I guess about a year ago, was going for around 200 plus. And Saki, you might be able to speak to this more, because I think you sold them at that point, or maybe sold a couple. I know you had some of these, so I'm not sure exactly when that happened, but it definitely wasn't that long ago. The price history only goes back to the end of June last year, and I think this happened more in the beginning of the year, or it was either in 2020 or 2021 that this card was quite expensive in price. And I think even the unlimiteds were like 90 plus. But looking into the prices now, you can see here lightly played unlimited is 55, and then near mint is 67. However, with this card, I kind of recommend not getting the unlimited, because the people that want to buy Madolche are not going to be like the players that are looking to win YCSs. They're going to be more fans of this deck. And those people generally want first editions of this deck. If it was just a card that people are going to play in the coming year for like the top strategy, then it doesn't really matter as much. It's still all the variants are going to go up, and you know, the unlimited for this could very well go up. But I think the first edition is better, especially where we've seen the first edition go. But the light play first edition is starting off here at 118, and then near mint is 125, which is still pretty high for this card, or for an ultimate rare in general, not really just this card. But with where we've seen the prices in history, it could definitely go up from here. However, I think I would keep waiting. We've seen the steady decline over the last year, and honestly, just the collector's market in general, and any market, if you go look at any financial market right now, just not doing great. So I think for cards like this, I would wait a little bit longer. Do I think this is great to have long term? Yes. Do I think you should pick it up now? Not necessarily. If you really wanted it for your own personal collection and you don't care about, you know, long-term value, I don't think it's a bad price to get it at, though. All right, we're going to go back and look at the other Madolches. I hate when you do filters because then it's like really hard to get back to where you want it to go. Apologize for that. Okay, Madolche Pudding Cess. Return of the Duelist, ultimate rare. This card is going for 33, lightly played unlimited. And then we'll see where this bottoms out to. 35 near mint unlimited. Then mod play first is at 42, light play first at 42 as well. And near mint first, I imagine, is probably 48, 48, 88. I don't think that's bad. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe this is played as one copy. But my overall feelings for this card is the same as Tiramisu for the ultimate rare, at least. I would wait to see this come down some more. It's been on a steady decline for the first edition. Not by much though. I mean, it's maintained almost the exact same price point for about, well, for a few months. Let's look at a year and see what it's done. Okay, so we can see back here towards the middle of summer last year, we were at 61 for near mint first edition, and we're down to 51. So the first edition looks like it's coming down, whereas the unlimited has kind of stayed the same, but you know, around $11 to $12 cheaper overall. I do think it's worth to have the first edition of this, but like I said, I do think that you could wait longer, and these might come down a little bit more. How much more, I don't know, but it's not going to crash per se. All right, let's see what else we have. Gosh, that's annoying. Okay, moving on. So for Tiramisu, there are a couple of other copies. The ultra rare from Abyss Rising, market price of $18. We're not going to click into them, but I don't think that's bad. Actually, we will click into this to see if some of these lower listings are worth grabbing. Those are all damaged. Light play unlimited 15. I really don't want to click because I don't want to like spend too much time on this. But let's just say that the near mint first edition is probably around $18 to $20 because that's where the market price is. That's not too bad either. However, I think that it's more worthwhile to get the ultimate rare over the ultra rare. But if you just wanted to play this deck, I mean, ultra rare is still fine. Just if you are going to be buying Tiramisu, stay away from the gold rare and the common. Stick with one of the original prints. I'm surprised we haven't got a reprint for this in a long time, but Tiramisu has just been one of those cards that's been up in price for virtually a long time. Moving on, we have the original print Madolche Angeli, market price around $5.37. I think these look really good as an ultra rare, and they've got, you know, the first edition stamp, you know, in the old position and everything. But it does have a secret rare print, and so we'll check that out as we go down. But Angeli, pretty good card. P.U.N.K, I mean, it's like kind of okay. I think that's also played at 1 or 2 copies. Pudding Cess though is pretty cheap at $4.50. I would grab that if you're looking to get this deck long term. Okay, so the secret Angeli is $2.70. So up to you basically what you think is your favorite copy. Personally, I would rather have the original print ultra rares, but I know a lot of people that don't really like ultra rares and would rather just get the secret rare. Pudding Cess, it seems really cheap though for Return of the Duelist ultra rares at a market price of $3.37. That might be something to keep your eye on. For the Dual Overload Madolche Magellan, I would skip that and just get the original Return of the Duelist super rare. They're about the same price. The original print's just like 70 cents more, so I would stick with that. Even though this is a higher rarity, technically it's an ultra rare. Messenger Gelato super rare, I think this is something that I have in my binder and think that's a very good long-term hold. I'm pretty sure it's the only hollow printing of it. I think it does have a rare from Abyss Rising, but being that it's an OTS super rare and also from OTS pack 14, which is now out of print, I think it's a good long-term hold in my opinion. Trying to see what else we have here. Promenades, super rare. This is also really good to get because it's from Eternity Code, and I believe it does not have a high rarity printing. We'll check real quick though. It doesn't have a reprint period. So this is something that I would probably get sooner than later because this can go up in price, especially if we don't see a reprint anytime soon. Let's see, what else do we have here? We did get a Petting Cestor ultra rare and Ghost from the Past. I think it's got a market price of $1 here. I'm not sure how many printings that has. Let's see what else that has. I think it has the original ultra rare. No, it's not because it's from Savage Strike. That's also a nice card to get for this deck. I think it's pretty good too. I'm not sure about ratios for this deck. Like I said, I only have, or I haven't said yet, but I've only had experience playing against this deck. I've never played it personally. So Team Sacker SL, you can give me a better description of how this deck's really played, or like what are your top cards. But I'm just going on an experience of playing against this deck and from what I've seen in market price movements. I believe that's the majority of your top end cards here. We have a Madolche Chateau here, ultra rare. That's pretty cheap as well. And I do believe you need this for the deck for sure. There's a Pudding Cess. Like I said, I would go for the original print Pudding Cess, which I believe is that ultra rare that we looked at. And I believe that's everything. For some reason, I was thinking that Fresh to Start had a super rare printing. Oh no, it has an ultra rare printing from Ghost from the Past. Okay. Also something to keep your eye on. Let's see, is that everything? Is there any other reprints? I believe that's it. So yeah, I would just keep your eye on this deck. Feel free to go check out video tutorials on how to play this deck and see if it's something that you're interested in. From my experience playing against this deck, hasn't been one of the better decks around for quite some time, but it's always a deck that is competitive and can see quite a bit of rogue success in locals at least. Not sure about YCSs if this sees any kind of representation there. Oh yeah, I missed this. So Chocolate Pudding Cess, Chocolate Mode does have a Dual Overload reprint at $2. But like I said, I would recommend just getting the original ultra rare from Cross Souls, and maybe just offloading these to get the original print. But that's all I really have to say for Madolche. Cool deck. I like the artwork. Do think it's got a lot of long-term collectability as a deck, and it's a deck that will probably always see some representation at locals with its fans. Next is Toon Kingdom. We've talked about this card so many times, but I just wanted to note that there are some cheaper copies available here at 45. If you missed the first chance where it just went up to like 55 to 60 recently, now's a chance to come back and get a copy or two for yourself. Or really, if you want to invest heavily, you can get as many as you want. I do think this is really good for a long-term hold. Next is Solemn Scolding. I do think at some point people will want all of these Solemn cards in a high rarity. This is the highest rarity for Solemn Scolding. It is the New Challenger's Secret Rare. And although it's not as good as like a Solemn Strike, in my opinion, it's also pretty good depending on what kind of deck you're playing. Like if you're playing a deck that doesn't play any kind of set spells or traps, this could be a good tech choice for you because you can stop the summon of a monster, or when the spell or trap card or monster effect is activated, you can negate that activation. So it's basically a omni-negate, and you only have to pay 3,000 life points, which compared to like Solemn Judgment, you have to pay 4,000 initially, assuming that you still have all of your life points. But the thing I like better about Solemn Judgment is, of course, it doesn't have to be the only set card in your spell and trap zone, but also like it's say later in the game when your life points are down to like 1,000, paying 500 life points to activate Solemn Judgment's just so free. So Solemn Judgment, without a doubt, way better card, but Solemn Scolding, I think for collectability, gonna be pretty good. And you just never know if this card will get some hype if there's kind of a more pure monster deck that's not playing set traps and spells besides this card. You never know. Next, I wanted to cover the super rare Contact C. So this did get bought up to around $6 recently. I know because I sold some copies at $6, but these are back down to $2.15. If you wanted to pick these up, I think now is the time to do it. It's not going to be much use to you in the current format, at least in my opinion, it won't be, but it is something to save for future formats because it's just a very powerful card, and we've seen buyouts on this card before. Even the commons were $5 to $8 at one point. And this is OTS super, so I mean these cards usually just do well, especially OTS super hand traps. So keep your eye on this card. Next, we have Token Collector. So this card at one point recently, in the last year, it was $1 per copy. And these shot up right when Sword Soul came out to around $8 to $12, and then I think it started settling at like 15. And I sold all my copies, but I do want to get some more because I really do like this card. And if you haven't seen this card in person, it's just a really, really good looking ultra rare, and I miss having it. But light play limited is $8.49. Near mint limited is $9. I don't think that's too bad here. I think that's fair. The only thing to be careful with is if Sword Soul stops seeing play, this card will probably dip again, quite a bit lower. I don't think it'll ever be $1 again, but it could be back down to like $5 or so. But if you're wanting to play it now, it's a very good tech against Sword Soul. I think that's a fair price. I do want to note as well, it does, as far as holo printings, it does have a reprint super rare in OTS Tournament Pack 18. And these are going for around $5.45 for lightly played unlimited, going up to $5.50 for near mint. At this price, I think you should just get the sneak preview because it's a higher rarity one, much older printing. Because I think that's like from the original set. And it's a lot harder to get because it's a sneak preview, which if you don't know, sneak previews, there's just not that many copies available of them. So I think that if you have these, I would maybe sell them and just get those original ultras, because I don't think it's worth to have this copy of it when it's only a couple dollars cheaper. 1 second. Sorry, I had it pop up. All right. Dimensional Barrier is next. This is the original printing from Invasion of Vengeance. Near mint unlimited is going for, that's a Spanish version, so we're looking at $15.69 here. Light play first edition, $16.45. What's the near mint going for? Oh wow, quite a bit more. So around $23. So this card's up quite a bit in price. If you're looking for a good tech card in this format against branded, if you're assuming you're not playing branded yourself, this card is great. And then besides that, it also gives you pretty good flexibility to counter other decks as well. Instead of using something very specific for Sword Soul, this is kind of generic, allowing you to hit anything except for Link monsters, of course. But I think that the original print is something to keep your eye on. In addition to that, if you also wanted a high rarity card, but just not spend as much, you could also get the Megaton reprints for around half the cost. Even less so. So Team Sakuraso has 2 here for $6.75. That's really not too bad considering it goes up to $8.50 here, or $7.50 really. So if you wanted to pick this card up, help him out and go pick those up. And then if you wanted a budget option, but you still want it to look nice, we do have dual Devastator ultra rares for under $1.25 and under, really. So that's also a good option. But as far as if you want to make an investment in a card that you're playing that you could sell for a profit later down the road, I would stick with the secret rares. Damn pop-up. All right, Next, Torrential Tribute Collector Rare. So this is from the Grand Creators, and it is technically the highest rarity of Torrential Tribute. However, I would still rather play the first edition Labyrinth of Nightmare Ultra Rares. But with that aside, this does look better in my opinion, and I think a lot of people will gravitate towards this. Not a lot of people are gonna pick the Ultra Rare over the Collector Rare, but these are going for 58, bottoming out here to 65. I think this is also a great pickup because it's just a really, really good card. It does see play still, and sees a lot of play in past formats as well. In my opinion, I've seen these before and they look really, really good, and probably won't see a higher rarity, possibly forever, but at least a long time, because they're going to want to print other things. Moving on, I wanted to quickly cover Bengalance or the Resurgent. We'll do a quick refresh on this because this has been moving quite a bit recently. This is a card I talked about getting at $1, not because it's good, but just because it's a secret rare plant monster. But if we ever saw plant support, people will look to this, and being a secret rare, it's a little bit harder to get. So I knew it could float up in price pretty easily. But right now the lowest is $7. And yeah, lowest is around $7. If you want to offload these now, if you got them, I would go ahead and do it. I'm going to be offloading mine because to be honest with you, the card is just not that good. You're having to use a lot of materials for something that's really not that effective. So I don't think that you would, I mean, maybe you would play one copy in a plant deck, but it's just not worth $7 to me. And we will see reprints of this in the Megatins, most likely. But yeah, I would offload these and maybe pick them up when they get reprinted if you really miss it, but I doubt you will. Next is P.U.N.K. I wanted to cover this archetype because in Dimension Force, we are getting a new ultra rare level 5 monster, which is No P.U.N.K. Deer Note. And if you haven't read this card, it's really, really, really good. And basically with the P.U.N.K. engine, it's like a 1-card needle fiber, or like I think you can also make Chaos Ruler as well with 1 card, and you can also play 3 emergency teleports since all of these level 3s are psychics and tuners. So potentially you wouldn't even have to use your normal summon if you draw into your emergency teleport. But if you wanted to see what you can do with this future support, I would go check out Wasim's channel. If you've ever heard of him, he does have I think a recent video covering P.U.N.K, or maybe it was, I can't remember when he posted it, but I watched it yesterday, but I didn't want to see when the date was because I was interested in this engine. But I was very impressed with this engine and do think it has a lot of potential. And right now you can pick up most of these cards for pretty cheap, especially like your super rares and stuff. I think his engine, he was playing 3 Xiamen, 3 emergency teleport, 1 ogre dance, 1 foxy tune, and 1 deer note. Foxy tune is going to be the most expensive, around $9. Yep, around $9. And there's some stacks here too, so you don't have to worry about it. It's probably not going to disappear right now or the next couple of days, but it's something that could see quite a bit of attention once we get Dimension Force. So it's something to keep an eye on. And then besides just any kind of resale value, I just think that this package is really, really cool and fun to play in a deck. And I've been trying it out in a few different decks to see what I can really do with it. I guess since we're going over this, we'll go ahead and cover the last card first. But Hot Red Dragon Archwing King Calamity. So this is an ultra rare from Shining Victories. Basically with what I saw on Wasim's channel, this is what you can go into on your opponent's turn after you've tributed your Hauka Fibrax for a what's that card called? The level 2 draw card. Let me look at it real quick. Sorry. Formula Synchron. So you tag off into your Formula Synchron, and then you link Formula Synchron, Plague Spreader Zombie, and I believe your Chaos Ruler, you synchro summon into this with those, because you can quick play on your opponent's turn, synchro summon, or whenever the card is summoned, you can synchro summon. And then if you haven't read this card, it's ridiculous. So basically, when this card is synchro summoned, you can activate this effect for the rest of this turn. Your opponent cannot activate cards. Also, cards your opponent controls cannot activate their effects. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. And the rest of it is like not that big of a deal. There are some cool effects in there, but that's like the main thing. Basically, it's you lock them out of playing for an entire turn. And this card right now for lightly played first edition is going for $1.10. And there's a couple of light play unlimiteds here for 60 cents. I would recommend just getting a first edition though, because this card's so cheap. Lightly played's fine. If you want to go near mint, there's one here for 79 cents. But if you look at the other printings, it's got one dual power ultra rare reprint and a rare. So the original print from Shining Victories is what you want to get, and it's just literally pennies. So that's just like my penny stock for the day. Could do something, could not, but at the end of the day, I don't think you're going to lose any money on it. So I feel pretty confident in telling you it's a decent card to pick up. Next, this is for, I believe Tim's card channel wanted me to go over this, but I can't remember right now. I believe that's correct. But Vision Herobion, the secret rare from Battles of Legend Heroes Revenge is going for, let's see, near mint first edition at $370 here, 2 copies, and then $350. Honestly, I think that's a pretty good price to get this at, but at the same time, it did just get a reprint, so it could float down a little bit further. But having these Heroes Revenge original print secret rare Vision Heroes, I think is a really good idea long term. Honestly, I'm not sure why they reprinted this card, because it had plenty of reprints before, but you know, it is a chance to get the original secret rare for pretty cheap there. I believe that's the original print, by the way, because I believe that Heroes Revenge came out before Duel Saga. But let me know. And that's pretty much all I had to cover today. But if you're coming in late, just remember to check out my structure deck giveaway contest. I'm going to leave the link to that video in the description. Check it out whenever you have some free time. I will be giving away a Albaz structure deck. And then depending on if we're over 200 subscribers in July when I call the contest, then there will be additional prizes. So stick around for that. But thanks for watching today, and I hope I can earn your subscription. And please leave a like if you like the video, and if not, tell me why or what you didn't like about this, because that also helps. But with that said, enjoy your day. I will see you either tomorrow or Friday. And if it is on Friday, we are doing the pack winner announcement. So yep, I'll see you guys later. Have a good day.